Welcome back, everybody. So we've had a wonderful break. Are you feeling refreshed, Junior?
Yes, I had more coffee, admittedly. I know you did too. We went to a coffee shop. Well, I went to a coffee shop. I'm not going to mention no names because they ain't paying us for the endorsement. However, we feel alive and kicking and ready to give you all the information you need for LTB 2020. Thank you very much for joining us. Just past 3 o'clock, and we have some amazing content coming up.
We really do. So today we're beaming in live from a place called Boom Satsuma. And this is an organisation based in Bristol. And you're going to tell us a bit more about who they are.
Yes. So Boom Satsuma are an absolutely unbelievable creative hub with visionaries, with passionate students, and actually they're going to explain in their quite long video, which is absolutely detailed in every single area about the amazing work that they do. This video is really for anybody that's creative, that really wants to think outside the box and doesn't want to go down the conventional route of college and then university. UCAS points can be converted into actual qualifications at the end of their level 3 diploma, and then you can go on to university. But it's almost like a hybrid between an apprenticeship and college.
That's awesome.
It's really about maximizing skills.
Yep.
So if you're a people person like myself and Charlie, then actually this could be really, really beneficial to you. Check them out online, boomsatsuma.com.
Yep.
They've got a Facebook page, they've got Twitter, they're on all the socials, they're all there. And we're really proud actually at LTB to be showcasing Boom Satsuma because again, we're all about immersive industries. We're all about actually the creativity and also bringing these to light. So it's going to be an incredible film. Very proud to present it to you actually on LTB 2020. This is an introduction to Boom Satsuma.
Are you feeling a little stressed or stretched? Why not join Ali and me from Future Quest for a short workshop introducing you to the skill of resilience and stress management and the importance of self-awareness. Together we'll have a go at the stress bucket activity and both of us will be available for Q&A afterwards. We'll see you at 1:30.
Welcome to the West of England Careers Innovation Show. My name's Oliver Stacey and I'm a Student Recruitment Officer at the University of South Wales. I hope you'll be able to join us on our stall where you'll be able to ask us plenty of questions about our courses and see some of our resources. But I'll also be delivering a talk on applications to applied health professions, which will look at useful tips when applying to things like nursing, midwifery, but also a range of health and well-being courses. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Hello and welcome to a full hour of insight into the creative industries with Boom Satsuma. My name's Elliot Lamb and I'm the Head of Student Experience at Boom Satsuma. Bristol is brimming with creative activity. There's so much TV, so much films, so much photography, so much theatre, so many events that happen here in Bristol, and all of Boom Satsuma's projects, all of our courses face just that, the creative industries. Being halfway through or coming towards the ends of your GCSE years, so year 10 and 11, is a time when it can feel daunting, but actually it's one of the first opportunities where you've got to decide to study and work in the field that you are most passionate about. It's a point at which you've got so much choice and there's so much opportunity to study and do what you love in Bristol. A career in the creative industries is a dynamic and exciting career, and it starts with Boom. So let's get started. So, we've got so much content planned for you over the next hour. This is our insight into the creative industries. Today, you're going to hear about all of the creative courses that we run at Boom Satsuma at college level. So that's the start of your creative career. You're also going to hear from all of our college level course leaders about how they're reimagining education, how we have to shape it and keep it active and keep it dynamic and changing in order to serve you and the industries that want to employ you. We're then going to join some of Boom Satsuma's current students so that live here you can ask your questions and have them answered by students that are studying with Boom Satsuma at the beginning of their creative career right now. But first, we've got a real treat in store. Boom Satsuma links all of its courses and all of its projects to real creative industries and creative professionals in Bristol. These people, these creative professionals are really invested in your education and your future, and they're the people that help make our courses dynamic and make sure that they're right and they make you employable in this industry. So first, let's hear from our friends across the creative industries about what they think is important in a creative career, and especially at the start of that journey.
Hi, I'm James Webb and I'm a communications consultant. Yes, I guess my route into my career was kind of fairly traditional back then. So I did A-levels at school, came out, did a degree in sports science, so away from what I'm doing now as a career. And I kind of did that for 3 years, graduated and came back to working in Bristol. I had an ambition to get into journalism, so I did a postgraduate diploma in Cornwall College, came out, got my first job on a newspaper when I was 24. Was fresh from university really, and kind of not really had much experience of doing that part of what I was doing. So worked for a paper for 2 years and loved it. Was covering sport, cricket, rugby, things as a kid I used to love to play. Getting paid to watch those sports was a dream for me. My journey was had a few bumps in the road. I kind of went through traditional A levels, went to go and study a degree, which was great because actually I was a chance to actually learn the job a lot theory based. Whereas I think courses like you have here with Boom Satsuma is actually the students get to experience, hands-on projects where I didn't get that chance when I was going through my degree. A lot of classroom-based education, lectures, but to get hands-on experience to actually run projects, produce content, interview people, really get that kind of flavour of what you need to do when you get a job full-time is great. So working in this environment here, which as you can see, it's an incredible place to work for these students, to have that experience, to do that was what I didn't quite get, which would have been for me a real benefit when I was going into my career at that stage of my life.
My name's Fiona Franken. I'm the Studios Director at the Bottle Yard Studios, which is a Bristol City Council owned and managed facility in South Bristol. We have 8 studios and it's my job to fill them with wonderful television productions and then look after those productions when they're here. The industry at the moment is booming within the UK. The government have big tax incentives for drama, children's animation, and that's seeing a big influx of production coming into the UK. And we're seeing a lot of that come to Bristol. We've got big co-productions with American companies. We've got Channel 4 about to move in October, they will bring commissioners into the city, which means there'll be a real swell in work when that happens. And I think that just across the industry, everything is busy and booming. The creative industries are really having their moment. I think the real key attributes for people coming into the industry are to be really good team players, to be nice people to have around, people you would want to work with, and also obviously have the skills that are going to continue throughout their career. But I think personality plays such a key role, and you have to have the right mindset.
What young people really need when looking to go into the games industry is obviously a portfolio. And I think I always recommend the best way to get this done is games jams. Games jams, games jams. That's how I did it. I couldn't recommend it enough. It's super fun. It means that you have an actual sort of MVP style product to have in your portfolio. And that just sort of impresses people. And also that means you're starting to network within the industry as well.
So a network is important then?
Oh, hugely. Yeah. I mean, it's the thing about the games industry is actually, relatively speaking, it's quite small. So people want to work with people they get along with. And if you've ever been to Develop or any of these kinds of events, you'll soon know that, just people love working with people who are their mates. And I think the nature of games and how much communication there is across disciplines to get that done in a kind of cohesive way, it makes sense. So I think, there's a huge benefit in being in and around actual working companies, especially startups, which have that kind of creative entrepreneurial spirit, hardworking, kind of grafting, and you get to see the grind of day-to-day running a startup, running a company, running a small business, because I imagine that quite a few of these students will end up in indie, which is very much like that. It's very startup-like in nature. And so I just think being in the same building and seeing the rest of us doing what we do, I think that's great for students. Yeah, I hope they get a lot of benefit out of that.
So my name is Mitchell Searle. I'm a 2D compositor / junior roto prep artist and currently working for a company called Fix Effects, which is based in Scotland. My previous experiences, I've worked for a studio called Milk VFX in London and worked on Fantastic Beasts 2, Good Omens, Origin, and currently working on an NDA project. So Boom Satsuma to me is a school that brings innovative technologies and industries to such a young audience. If I looked at other universities offering the same programs, I would say that Boom Satsuma is way ahead of its game and delivering it to people that can actually do it and taking that risk of teaching younger people the ideas and techniques that older people are doing. The advice that I would give is work hard, play hard. For starters, you've got to be dedicated to the job and be able to do the job correctly, but at the same time, you've got to have fun while doing it.
I'm Sarah Dennis. I'm the marketing manager at Mr. B & Friends, which is a creative and brand consultancy based in Bristol. I think it's really important to have the hands-on experience in the field that you're planning to work in. at school and at college you'll learn a lot of theoretical big, conceptual ideas, but actually when you put it into practice there's a lot more around it. So I think particularly if you're looking at a creative industry, when you're studying you're looking at one big idea in isolation, that's all your own crafting. You don't have that kind of input and that two-way conversation with clients and with colleagues that you'd have when you're actually working on a live brief. So really working on a live brief or within an actual company, you get to learn the softer skills too. So that might be learning to negotiate around time and budget that you have to dedicate to something. You'll find that you might have come up with this amazing idea for projecting something across a 6-story building, but actually when it comes down to it, that might not fit with what the client needs or their objectives, so then you're kind of modifying it and refining it. And so there's a lot of negotiation that goes on there too. That's something you really get from working on a real brief. I'd also say that going into a company you can create some really good connections. So before I worked in my current role I was a journalist, and my first real foot in the door in journalism was doing work experience somewhere and then being put in contact with someone who worked in the BBC newsroom and getting some work experience at the BBC newsroom that then looked amazing on my CV and got me my first proper journalism job too. So I think when you go into a company and you impress and you get that chance to really show what you're all about, you can make those connections that then will help you to develop your career further down the line.
My name's Emily Kent and I'm a co-founder of One Big Circle. We specialise in intelligent video, which is essentially capturing video from a number of assets, both moving and still, and then making that video smarter by adding machine learning and artificial intelligence to that. My career started in direct marketing. I went on maternity leave. When I came back, the whole industry had changed dramatically. The tools and the technology that's there is now available to be learnt, to be experimented with, to be developed and be advanced is really dramatic. So the rate of change is huge, and with that comes an industry around it. And then the opportunities within that are massive. There's no industry that's not affected by digital media. So the opportunities in it are huge now. I think the skills that are needed are a real passion about what you want to do so that you can really immerse yourself in that environment. I think formal skills struggle to keep up with the technology that's now available. So to be able to be ahead in the game that you want to be in, you've really got to be passionate about what you're doing and what you're creating and what you're learning and what you can deliver. So I think to then work in a collaborative environment where you can learn from other people, where you can share ideas and really advance your own skills, that is where you can really kind of grow within the industry.
So I am a production manager in the TV industry and I have been working as a PM for 10 years. I got into the role of production management basically because I used to be a floor manager for studio-based shows and loved it. People who want to start a career in the TV industry, I think you are not expected to know it all or potentially anything in fact. So I think bring with you kind of good working attitude, friendly disposition, eager to learn, eager to sort of do anything from, logging rushes, helping out on shoots, but also just offering to make tea or coffee. That always traditionally goes down quite well. And also just bring an element of humility. Like you couldn't be an amazing, filmmaker and have done great coursework and done stuff out of school, but and offer those skill set in the production, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll walk straight into a role of a camera operator or a director or a shooting producer. It does take time to learn the industry, and the best way of learning is by building your way up. So starting as a runner, starting as a production secretary, or as a receptionist in a post-production house, or a runner in whatever the field that you think you're interested in, just be willing to start at the beginning and work your way upwards, because that's the best way of learning and getting a true understanding and all-round experience of the industry. Bristol's a really thriving industry for television at the moment. We have had two big key things that have happened in the last couple of years. One is very recently is Channel 4 Creative Hub is moving here, so that just opens the door to a far bigger range of production companies that are opening up in Bristol, which means that it's a better, wider industry, but it also gives us a wider scope for the different productions that will be made out of Bristol, which I think is great. And I think the other big change in Bristol is the fact that we are now, there are several production companies that are now have got good relations with the likes of Netflix, Amazon, Apple TV, and that just changes the ball game massively. It changes the ball game in terms of what you can make, how you make it, the sort of technical development going from sort of HD to 4K to goodness knows what's next, and the sort of budget ranges of working with massive corporations and also the complexities of working with them as well. I just think it's a really, really interesting time that we are now in, and it is a really busy industry. So I think 5 or 6 production companies opened up here last year, and I think there's another 2 or 3 that have opened up here this year already, you know, so I think there's just so much going on. It's good, it's exciting.
So I think it's quite hard to deny that a career in the creative industries is interesting and exciting in equal measure. But I think when you're at the beginning of that journey, especially when you're doing your GCSEs at school, it's quite hard to define that so finely. You might know that you're interested in your photography GCSE, you might really enjoy your media studies lessons, you might really like your art lessons, but to go from that to picking one of the many jobs that you just saw those creative professionals talk about is quite a leap. So all of our college courses are essentially built with that in mind. So as you come to the end of year 11 and you're looking at going on to a full-time sixth form programme, all of the courses that we run are built to give you an introduction into that industry, to help you understand all of those individual roles, so that going through the 2-year courses with Boom Satsuma, you can make an informed decision on what it is that you want to do. So Boom Satsuma's courses are built with that in mind, built with trying to get you to a place where you understand exactly what it is you want to do, to help you move on to the next level of study, whether that's university level with Boom Satsuma or elsewhere, or whether it's onto an apprenticeship or direct into employment, to get you to a place where you're comfortable about where your niche is, what you're good at, and what you really enjoy. I'd like to spend some time now with our program leads so that they can tell you about their individual courses that they run, the projects that they get up to, the approach that they take, and how their students find it. To start things off, let's go over to Reese Morell, our programme leader for sports media production at Ashton Gate Stadium.
Hi, I'm Reese. I'm the Programme Leader of Sports Media Production at Boom Satsuma. Like everything we do at Boom Satsuma, our Sports Media Production course allows students to develop their kind of foundation skills in media in a professional environment. The sports media industry has been growing rapidly over the last few years, especially in terms of social media content creation. And we've had a bit of a partnership with the Bristol City Robins Foundation for a few years where we worked on projects kind of externally whilst we haven't been based in the stadium. Our partnership is built from that. Examples of the projects we've worked on here on the Sports Media Production Diploma include the Cricket World Cup 2019. This is a project that came around very last minute and we jumped on board with Gloucestershire Cricket Club. One of the key partnerships we have for our Sports Media Production students is our partnership with Weston-super-Mare Football Club. We work with them on a lot of their media operations in terms of photography and also matchday programme production. Students see it through right from starting from scratch and editing the design for the upcoming season, all the way for it going to the printers and then being sold on match days. So they're getting a full look into a professional process of designing, creating, producing print-based media. Part of like the difference between being here in this professional environment against kind of being inside a classroom is the fact that because of the environment we're in, we have those kind of access to those people, so the students may not get that opportunity if they were studying elsewhere. So I try and put quite an importance on getting those kind of people in and those media industry experts, because then the more our students can be exposed to professionals like that, it's always going to have a good influence to kind of rub off on them in certain ways. I'd say if you have an interest in sport, whether that be football, rugby, cricket, Formula One, water sports, even if it's really like niche sporting interests, like definitely come along and get involved. And generally we want to look for students who have a passion for what they do, not just a passion for being a fan and watching the sport, but also a passion for content creation. Again, there's such a variety of skill sets needed in the media industry now, and I feel like it's important to know all of those roles and not just focus on one. So we have 20 places here on the course at Ashton Gate. With every student we interview and let onto the course, we're always looking just for that passion in different subjects and generally a willingness to get involved in any sports media project, no matter what it is. At Boom, we always say we learn best by doing, so people will definitely get hands-on and we need people who are ready to take on that challenge. Because of the way we do things here at Ashton Gate, students aren't just leaving us with the 3 A-levels the qualification gives them, it's also giving them a huge portfolio of work for them to take that next step. That happens because of the environment they're in and because of the contacts they can make and because also of the trust and the faith we put in them to go out and do it. We're empowering them to go out and get those opportunities and make the most of them. And so I think without us having that trust in students, then they maybe wouldn't leave with such a good portfolio, but I think that's part of our Boom ethos there.
Next up, let's find out more about our games, VR and VFX course at Engine Shed. Our full-time courses are designed in such a way that they're intentionally broad and give you a really good understanding of the entire industry. On the course, you'll cover loads of skills, including 3D character animation, texturing, rigging and modelling. We'll build vehicles, characters and environments for your games and virtual reality experiences. We'll look at 2D digital art, 2D illustration, animation, image manipulation, motion graphics and compositing for film. We use games engines to populate and code your own unique universes. We teach you to understand the mechanics of gameplay and to apply bespoke rules to your own assets.
Okay, within the games VFX and VR course, we learn all sorts throughout. We learn a bit about 3D modeling and creating assets within 3D software such as Maya. And we also learn about programming within software such as Unity. And we also learn about 2D illustration through software such as Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. I came into this course feeling very focused and wanting to be a 2D concept artist and not having to touch 3D whatsoever. But this course made me realize how fun the aspect of 3D is and how easy and intuitive it can be.
Simply put, you're spending 2 years building a professional, creative portfolio that you can use for your next steps. And as with all of Boom Satsuma's courses, you're based in a professional environment and taught by experienced practitioners. Up next, we're joined by Dan Lynch to tell you about our film and television course based at the Bottle Yard Studios, a real-life film and television facility that's the largest in the Southwest.
So we are lucky enough to be based at Bottle Yard Studios, where we get to see all the comings and goings of all the wonderful film and TV stuff that happens here. They see professionals every day wandering to and from the classroom, as well as getting the experience of talking to people in specific areas of the film and TV industries, be that set designers, costumes and props, or whoever it may be that they come across. Coming with an idea is really nice. It means that you've got a direction and we can help support that, but coming going, I know I'm interested, but don't necessarily know which area I'm interested in, is really great, because it means you get to try a bit of everything, see what fits, and basically it's a bit of throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. So we have an abundance of really great quality equipment here that we try to ensure is used and shared and respected within the studio space itself. We encourage students to take it and use it and practice and feel comfortable with the equipment. You get an experience that allows you to have a much more in-depth, more valuable, much more intricate understanding of equipment and the software that we've got. Because it does give you all that technical knowledge, that then comes hand in hand with confidence, and that confidence then allows it to be those transferable skills. It becomes I already know how to work this camera, so therefore I feel more comfortable explaining to somebody else, or working alongside other people, or knowing my part within a larger production. On the film and television course, we often have smaller group sizes. That allows us to get to know the students on a personal level and fully understand their intentions, their passions, what makes them tick, what works for them, what doesn't work for them, and allows us to really create a group dynamic. They become their own sort of in-house production teams. It allows them to really shine through, and it means that we know all of our students and we know the stuff that they're going to produce and the stuff they're interested in.
And finally, let's go over to Jake Gardner, our program leader for creative and digital media production at Engine Shed.
My name is Jake Gardner and I'm the Creative and Digital Media course lead here at Engine Shed. We range from sound to film, we do photography, graphics, pretty much everything. And the reason we do that is because the media world is so vast. There are so many different things that you can go into. So after they've done our course, then they should have dipped their toes in everything so that they can know or they can have a better understanding of what they're going on to actually do. We tend to start a project as if nobody knows anything about it. So the photography, people might not have done photography before, so we start that. But towards the end of the year, when people have a bit more of an idea of what they want to specialise in, then we like to do group projects where people can actually specialise. It helps with communication across the board. You've got to get your ideas across, you've got to be able to pitch, you've got to be able to convey very visual ideas. The way that we work and being very flexible and willing to work with clients and adapt our scheme of work means that those students are going to university with portfolios full of actual client briefs. There are not huge amounts of places here, and so we want to make sure that we find the right group, and that's got to be people who are willing to experiment and learn and be accepting of different cultures, different ways of doing things. We're a small group and it only works if everybody's moving in the same direction. My advice for anyone coming to interview would just be to bring your enthusiasm. I think it's really hard coming from GCSEs and only being able to do photography and art, or maybe even just one of those. And you might not have a massive portfolio, but what I want to know is that you're willing to make one when you come here. I don't care if you think it's nothing, as long as it shows that you are willing to try and get involved, then that is absolutely perfect and it's going to set you apart.
Okay, so I get that that was intense. It's a lot of information in a short amount of time. So you might be thinking, I've now got loads of questions, or I know all about those courses, but I'm really not sure which one is right for me. In short, we're here to help. So you can use the Like2Be platform, or you can use Boom Satsuma's website, or you can message us on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever works for you for us to help. Introduce yourself, the courses that you do, what you're interested in, what you're thinking, what you're confused about, and we're here to help you decide and navigate that journey when you're in year 10 and 11 to work out what you want to do next. Now, up next we have something a little bit different. It's called a round table. We got our college course leads together to talk about reimagining further education for the creative industries. You might remember at the beginning of this stream, I said that the creative industries are growing and changing rapidly. So we felt it important to get together for our course leaders to talk about how their course is facing the industry that they serve. Let's take a look. Hello, my name is Elliot Lamb. I'm the Head of Student Experience at Boom Satsuma. Thank you for watching this roundtable. The topic for today is reimagining further education for the creative industries. Something that we have always done at Boom Satsuma is not let any of our educational programs run stagnant. It's the creative industries move very, very quickly and change rapidly, and employers in that space constantly need innovation. And when they're looking at a new workforce, when they're looking at young people joining their workforce, the needs of those young people change. So this is something important to us, to keep our courses dynamic and active and up to date, and that's what we're going to be discussing today.
Hi, I'm Reese. I'm the programme lead of our sports media production course at Ashton Gate Stadium.
My name is Gardner, and I'm the Creative and Digital Media Programme Lead at Engine Shed.
I'm Lindsay, I'm Boom Satsuma's Creative Projects Manager.
Hi, my name's Scott. I'm the Programme Lead for our Film and TV course at WoECI Studios.
I'm actually going to throw something at you that wasn't in the list, and it's just to sort of get the ball rolling really, and I suppose see if we're on the same page. But you know, Boom Satsuma is 10 years old in 2021. And we've kind of gone through so many different chapters, starting off as a community interest company, getting involved in Arts Council and lottery funded community projects for kind of raising participation, and then gone into our scene with sixth form settings, and then we've done our further education courses, and now we're at a chapter with our higher education courses. Through that time, I think that there's sort of been one approach to everything that we've done, sort of an ethos, if you like. In terms of your time with Boom Satsuma, could you try and outline what you think that ethos is, and what you think Boom Satsuma stands for, really? We'll start with Reese, no pressure.
Yeah, I think it's probably fairly poignant for me, just because I guess I have been here since like the very start. So we went away for a little bit for my own education, but ever since kind of day one of Boom, the ethos has always been creating opportunities for young people. And I think ultimately that's still what we do now and have done over the last decade. So even right when we were starting in, it was all community projects and going into local youth centres and doing stop motion animation with kids on a local estate or anything like that. It's all about creating opportunities for them, opportunities which before they wouldn't have normally had. And again, that's just like the USP of our courses, is the opportunities we're giving them that they wouldn't get elsewhere because of the context our higher education and FE courses are in. So I just think our ethos is as simple as that, creating opportunities for young people.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I hadn't really thought of it like that until you started speaking, but yeah, when we started that, it was just about opening doors for them and helping them get 5 GCSEs A to C that they needed to go on and do college work. And I think we just carried that through and just keeping doors open.
Nice. Lindsay, your kind of your perspective is slightly different as well, which is handy because we've got the education courses, and then there's so much that happens outside of that with our external projects as well.
I think that it is very much around creating opportunities for young people and kind of merging into young adults as well as adults in and around communities in the Southwest. But I think it's very much about looking at projects and people holistically. So although it's about creating opportunities, it's very much looking at what that person needs and creating quite personalised projects that develop skills, offer opportunities, allow those people that are on the projects or on the courses to develop in lots of different ways so that they're very prepared at the end of the project for whatever they want to go out and do.
Nice.
So my perspective on it, I'm quite new to Boom Satsuma. I've been here for about a year. Previous to that, I've worked in a more standard kind of school setting. And I think for me, moving from that to this, the biggest difference that I notice is, again, opportunities that students have. It's easier for me to engage students in those opportunities as well.
I think the thing you're saying about like the context is really good, because it's all well and good teaching someone about something but miles away from it. And like, you know, we're saying me and Reece were saying, it opens doors. This like literally opens doors to those places in terms of you're not just learning about filmmaking in a classroom, especially in your context. You know, it's actually opening them up into that world rather than just.
I think from where I came from, the closest thing that you had to that was along the lines of like a media studies course, which has its own relevance, and you can get a lot out of it, but it doesn't give you that real experience, and it doesn't let you kind of find out what it's going to be like further down the line. You gain a lot of knowledge, and that knowledge is valuable. But I think the hands-on skills are what's really looked for in industry, and if you're looking to move on to maybe higher education as well.
I mean, that's what we hear, isn't it? Quite like just a lot whenever we're talking to industry about the either building kind of standalone projects with them or working with kind of local media organisations to build the courses. It's just about the skills. And they're saying we really need students to come to us with all of the knowledge that you traditionally have, and that seems to exist, but the hands-on, being able to kind of function in that environment, I guess.
Yeah, and I think whilst like the opportunities we can give them because of the environments we're in, it can be a bit of a baptism of fire, isn't it? It's very much learn by doing and quite in at the deep end.
Absolutely.
But I think students do prefer that because we are kind of empowering them by giving them an opportunity which they never ever would have had coming through their state schools.
I think it's nice for students to have choice in that because that traditional education works for a lot of students, and the approach that we have works for a lot of students as well, which I think is great. So there may not really be one answer to this, and I don't think that there is. But with all of that in mind, who are our projects and who are our education courses right for? What kind of young people do we serve?
For me personally, I just think the next gen of young people, just because I think this might be going really too far into it and I might come across as a massive nerd, but just the whole education system was made ages ago, like Industrial Revolution, where everything's like factory lines. So the only thing kids had in common back then was just like an age group. So everyone just goes through the same subjects and the same stages and everyone sits exams, whereas now the world's just a lot different to when it was when the education system was made. So I just think it suits society better now in terms of learning by doing, not everything like massively standardised with tests and exams. Just everything should be a bit more bespoke.
I think that it suits the type of student that system that Reece and Scott were mentioning there, that they don't necessarily fit into that. I think that, you know, it's like Reece says, it's not a good system. It's like really flawed in lots of ways, but it's the system we've got with. But it just lets a lot of people down. And even our course isn't perfect in terms of the way that things are assessed. There are still gaps, but we try and maybe tailor it as much as we can so that if there is like a written project that someone with like severe dyslexia doesn't have access to, then we can find ways around it and do like presentations and stuff like that.
I suppose what's great is because we focus on creative and performance. I think we're lucky in that so many of the subjects that we teach, they're so easy to be passionate and excited about because they're intrinsically exciting. So it's I think we're lucky in that space, and so what we tend to get from students is that people understand how or why they can be excited about the subject that they're studying and the things that they're learning.
But that's also because the investment in the teachers and the structure of the courses, they lend themselves well to using all the latest content or getting them excited by showing them that what they're studying is the latest thing. You know, they're innovative, progressive courses because they run in parallel to the real world. And that's why young people get so excited about them, because they're so fresh, they're so new.
Yeah, and I mean, those people often end up working together, right? So I see it as empathy, this kind of understanding what people on that team, if you were to be in that job, you just understand what an editor needs, you understand what the graphic designers can do, and it might help you support other people in their job, which would only make you more successful because it's about collaboration, right?
That knowledge of all the different aspects of media, it's just something, like you say, it builds that understanding of what other people are trying to do as well, and how maybe, you know, you think you've never done any graphic design before, and all right, that's not your thing, but you think, oh, someone who's just a good artist, that's obviously easy for them, and you know, therefore
their work is not as meaningful as mine because mine's really difficult. Setting up shots and filming things, it takes time and a lot of prep, and someone's sitting there just doing a bit of graphic.
Sure.
But if you've actually taken part in that and got some experience and realise, oh, actually there is more to this.
You understand what goes into each of it, yeah.
Then you're going to have more respect for other parts of the industry, and you're going to be more likely to produce projects at a higher standard.
But even if you go into a collaborative project in the creative industries, you have to have an understanding of what other people are doing to be able to deliver on that project.
Yeah, it's fine.
Exactly. You can't be having conversations with other people in your team without having respect for what they're doing and some sort of knowledge. So you'll be far more successful if you do have that understanding and that grounding of all the different facets of it.
That time, the resources and the skills and everything that's needed to get it done.
And as you've just seen, an absolutely incredible film by the students and staff of Boom Satsuma, which I have 3 of them here. Can you give a wave to the audience, please? Woo! Yeah, you see, Ruben, they're like, are you body popping next to me, Ruben? I swear. Sorry. No, why are you apologising? No, we like this. This is absolutely great. And it's live, so anything can happen. No, you're cool. It's you. It's fine. It's all good. If you just tuned in, it's Julia Saunders along with Charlie Young, who is currently at the moment taking a little break due to the fact that COVID rules. We have to respect the rules, but also we have tremendous guests with us now live. If you just tuned in to Like to Be, it's absolutely incredible to have you here with us. And we will be speaking, see, I don't want to call you the students of Boom Satsuma because I feel like you're a part of the family. Does that make sense? Yeah. And this the point was like, what? Like, a part of the family? Does this mean they can give us money? It's great. It's all good. Right. So, Ruben, I'm going to start with you first, okay? Ruben, Joanna, and obviously Lynn as well. Just introduction. Give them a little wave again if you want to. Yeah, all good. So, tell us about your story, because you've got an incredible story, which I personally believe is very inspiring, fits the themes of Like to Be 2020. We're based in Bristol, or Boom's based in Bristol. How far do you travel every day to come to Boom Satsuma?
Yeah, well, I live near Oxford, which is, I was going to say in Oxfordshire, but that's pretty obvious. So it's about an hour train journey, 20-minute drive, so probably about an hour 30 commute. Yeah, it's right, isn't it? I like the course. So it's basically because I knew what I sort of wanted to do. They were going to set up a course in Didcot, and then they were like, oh, well, we can't do it because I don't know what happened there. But then they were like, oh, do you want to come to Bristol? I think they were just doing it on the off chance. Like, oh, no one's going to come to Bristol. And I was like, yeah, I'll come to Bristol. And they're like, oh, nuts, now we have to get space on the course for this idiot that wants to come like, whatever, an hour and a half every day. But yeah, it's a really good course. So I'm happy I did it. I'm happy doing it every day. Because it's been like 2 months now. Is it 2, 3 months? Who knows?
It's that good you've lost time.
Yeah, exactly. It's gone. Everything's happening. And yeah, it's I'm still here. Don't mind the train journey. It's all really good. So yeah, I'm happy I did it. Yeah.
Excellent. And if there was, because this is obviously a global platform, Like to Be is accessible to all. If there's anybody that has the opportunity to extend their learning outside of their areas, what advice would you give them in taking that step? Because 2-3 years ago, what would you say to your younger self that was thinking, okay, this course existed in Bristol, it doesn't exist in Oxford, to take that chance, to really go for what they want to do?
Yeah, literally don't follow your friends, don't follow what your parents say, just do what you want to do. Go if you want to go somewhere, go for it, because you only live once. It's very cliche as it were. But you know what I mean, like if you want to do it, you should just go for it, and like don't care about what you're made to do, and don't care about what your parents, they're like, you have to go here, you need A levels to go to, you don't need A levels to go to uni. It's like I hated like the stepping stone. They said that a lot at school, stepping stones. But like it's just do what you want, and then probably be happier, won't you? There's no point doing a level if you're not happy.
That sounded like a scripted delivery. Then I must say it was brilliant. Don't worry about what your parents want you to do. Don't worry about that. It's absolutely fine. But it's great because actually, if you're passionate about something and you're willing to put the work in, it just goes to show that actually things can happen. And I'm sure now, and correct me if I'm wrong, that your parents, your carers, whoever you live with, are really seeing a difference within your confidence because you're doing something that you really want to do.
Yeah, I think that's how my parents are very supportive in this, and my dad is in the creative industries, which has helped. But yeah, I think from school, I never liked school. One of the worst things about school for me was exams and the way it was structured in general. But I just saw the course at BoomSat and I was like, no exams, just a much more free structure to do what you want to do. And yeah, I've completely forgot the original question.
Don't worry about it. You're lost in the passion. Don't worry. It's cool. We like this. You're lost in the passion.
Yeah. But that's so I just did that because I didn't like school at all, and it's nothing like school. And that's one thing I would tell myself is there are options after year 11 that you can go on to something else completely different. You don't have to do classical school or whatever you'd call it.
You definitely need to be an advocate. You're very confident, you're very clear, and yeah, great energy within. Thank you very much. Lynn, so how has your Boom Satsuma journey been for you?
It's really, I don't even know how to put it into words. like I really enjoy it. Like with every unit I find out like what I like and what I don't like. And I feel like that's really important. Because when I first joined Boom, I really had no idea what I wanted to do with my life.
I think we're all at that point, don't worry. 2020's proven that.
Like at year 11, I was like, I like science, I like art, I have no idea what I want to do with my future. Guess we'll try this. And what I really liked was how like open this was. Like you literally cover all the bases. You find out what you like, what you don't like, and what you really want to delve into. And at the end of the day, if you find out that creative media maybe isn't for you, that's fine. That's just another lesson you learn. But I just enjoy it so much. Like the people I've met, like on my course and outside of the course, like the connections you make, which is another great perk. Like you have actual industry experience. You can't say that a lot for other colleges. Like I just really enjoy it. It's amazing.
So what would you say to anybody out there who perhaps wants to get into the creative media industries and they, self-belief is something that we definitely have touched today. I'd like to be all around, stimulating the mind towards positive outcomes. What would you say to anybody that perhaps wants to take the step into the digital field, but perhaps doesn't have the necessary confidence to make those inquiries? What would you say to them?
I would say just go for it. Like, go with your gut. If your gut is telling you, I want to go into digital media, go for it. Like, because, especially with this course, you get so much support. Like, if you're not sure, that's totally fine. You are not the only one like that. Like, when I first started the course, I, talked to everyone there, and nobody was really sure what they want to do. They were like, I'm here because I don't know what I'm doing. I like to be creative, I like digital media, but beyond that, beats me. But I would definitely advise to just go with your gut. Like, you'll explore so many options and you'll definitely take something away from it more than you probably expect.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like with BoomSat, the course is so varied. If you just think I want to go into media, so many options out there. The course is just like you go to film, you do photography, audio, graphics. It just keeps building, so you can decide what you want to do when you're there. Instead of being like, oh, I need to decide, and this is the uni I want to go to, this is what I want to do, it sort of gives you that option to go, I want to do some sort of media, I don't know what, but I'll do it, and then I'll choose afterwards, because it gives you those options.
So when you just spoke then, a song came to mind, and it goes, don't stop me now, having such a good time, Ruben really is. No, but it's the confidence. The confidence is brilliant, and that's what we love, and that's what the world needs, and it's all about exercising that positivity, of which you both clearly demonstrated. And as we move on to you, Joanne, you've got a really interesting story in terms of fashion, creative media. Tell us about that.
Well, it was all really quick when I actually applied to Boom, because I didn't know what I was going to do, and actually I didn't do anything creative in terms of GCSEs. So I was like, I really want to do something creative, and then in year 11 I got introduced by BoomSat. At first I was like, no, I wanted to go to a local college, but then later on someone else said that there was actually a digital course in Boom, because I was only told about the gaming course. So I was like, let me just apply to that. It all happened really quickly because like the pandemic and everything. And then I was really into photography. And then during the pandemic, I had like a book full of like careers in the like course. And then it said stylist. I was like, I might go for that. And then I was really into graphics, and I really like did my research during the pandemic because I had nothing else to do. So I was like, I'm gonna go into that. But yeah, it was really, really quick and really. But I've always enjoyed that stuff since I was like really, really little. I love to dress up and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go through that path.
Nice. And in terms of your future aspirations, open question to all three of you, what is the plan? Or maybe I should say, what was the plan? Then 2020 happened. Now, what is the plan? And I open that question up to all three of you really. What's the plan for the next couple of years without limitations? Because we don't do limitations at LTB.
I basically don't know. So still,
wow, that's a good start there, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I did. All right, I knew I wanted to do digital, some media. But that's what I was saying. As I said earlier, you can do whatever you want after this. So because it's so early on, I still don't know what I want to do. There's so much left on the course to do. Quite like to go to uni, but wouldn't mind if I didn't either. I just want to do something I want to do, and at the moment I don't have 100% sure. I would definitely in year 10, 11 I wasn't 100% sure. But yeah, just if I see something that I want to do, I'll do that, hopefully.
And it's okay to not know what you want to do as well. And it's really important that, it's a really valid point that you made actually, Ruben, that if you don't know what you want to do, I think the most important thing right now is understanding that you survived 2020.
Yes.
So from that point, you can actually make clearer decisions and clearer pathways, because now employers, colleges, post-16 providers will be more engaging because they want to understand their students more. Because this is something we've all shared that's happened this year. So actually, how do we now evaluate and move forward in a really productive way? And it's something that myself and Charlie's been plugging all day about, being really authentic with yourself. Saying actually, and you mentioned something earlier, Ruben, about if your parents have a certain idea for you, it comes from a place of complete, honesty and love, but at the same time, it's not who you are. It goes against your values and your inner dialogue, and it's hard being 16 and 17. I remember it many moons ago, but it is difficult, So having that kind of direction of saying, I don't know what I want to do, but actually in the current moment, I'm happy, is very, very powerful. What would you say to anybody out there, because we're coming to a close now, sadly I have to speak to you all day, words of wisdom, words of advice. What would you like to say to anybody that's in school right now, and they might be feeling a little bit low, and they need something, relatable information from their peers, aka you guys, in 15 seconds each probably. I'm gonna start with you, Ruben.
I don't know. I've said it so many times. But just do what you want to do. There's literally no point of doing what other people want you to do, because then you won't be happy. So if you're feeling low, if you're feeling like you don't know what you want to do and you don't have aspirations, that's fine. But when it comes to it, just do what you want to do.
Brilliant. Thank you. And Lynn?
Whatever you do will be the right decision for this moment. Just do exactly what your gut is telling you. If you're a creative person in your nature, I would absolutely recommend going for a really creative course, because that will allow you to explore your options. So whatever you do will be the right decision for that time, as long as it makes you happy.
Perfect. And lastly, Joanne.
You only live once, and if you want to do something, then go for it. And you'll never know what it's going to be like until you do it. Really, because I applied and I didn't know what it's going to be like, and now I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, just do that.
Excellent. And can you give me a virtual kind of fist bump, but obviously because of COVID regulations, do you get it?
Yeah, it works.
It does kind of work. It's like a Marvel kind of amalgamation of power is going to come out. Thank you very much for joining us at LTB 2020. Really appreciate your input. And if you want to find out any more information regarding Boom Satsuma, visit them online, www.boomsatsuma.com, for all the latest news and information. This is LTB 2020 with Junior Saunders and Charlie Young.
We're done. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for watching. There is a lot more content though. LTB's website is full of different content from different exhibitors, so make sure you explore and look around this zone. In terms of next steps, if you feel ready to apply for Boom Satsuma or you have any questions, just get in touch. visit boomsatsuma.com. See you later.
Hello, my name is Sue. Did you know there's many different ways to get a degree? Through a college, through a university, through work. There's also many different ways to get to a job that requires a degree level qualification. So don't be confused, come along to my workshop and I shall be talking about the many routes to a degree, and I think you'll be surprised by how many routes there are. I'll also be talking about how you can stand out from the crowd when you come to apply, how you can start to think about what's most important to you and start to get a plan A and a plan B. Also, you can do our skills profile, and that will tell you what skills you've got already. You can compare those skills to a job you might be interested in and have them ready for when you come to apply for a course or a job later. So pop across to my workshop and I look forward to seeing you there.
Are you feeling a little stressed or stretched?